Hello, John Doe. I want to thank you for coming in last time to go through the pre-listing packet I had set up for us. Today I want to go through the actual setting up the listing. So the first thing I want to go through is talk about the residential real estate listing agreement between an exclusive right to sell between me and you. So basically, we got the parties involved, which is you, John Doe, the brokerage, the broker address, and this is going to be the subject property involved, and that is the legal description of it. So this is what lawyers will look at when they hear description of property. When they're looking to find a property, this is what they'll look at. So this is improvements. Talks about improvements. I want to ask you to read through this separately after we go through it, and then if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me about them. The house, garage, and all other fixture improvements attached above described real parking, including without limitation or permanently installed and built-in items. Basically, everything's attached to your house is attached to your house. Accessories, things that are attached, more stuff that is attached to your house is attached to your house. These will be things that would be removed by you before the house is sold, which there isn't going to be anything that necessary for that. The house is not in the homeowner association. The listing price, this is something we've talked about previously, and we have come to the conclusion that we want this as $215,000 is what we have concluded that we want this to be. That's what we have decided that we want the listing price to be. From your conversation we had earlier, this is what we have concluded for the listing price. This is the term for that I will be working with you, and that the house will hopefully be sold before the end of this term is my goal. And then the broker's compensation, how you'll pay us, how much you'll pay us, will be paid, and basically what forms of payment we will take, the service we provide, fees and expense reimbursement, expenses, protection period. Basically, if our agreement ends and it's sold immediately after from the work that I've done, I am still entitled for compensation for the work that I've done that caused it to get sold. It's in Bell County, escrow authorization, listing services, the different services I will be providing for you for the listing, access to the property. We will have reasonable access at all times to the property. Scheduling companies are all licensed companies. There will be a lockbox on the door so that we can have access to the property when you're not there if we need to show the house to a potential customer. And the customer is the buyer. You are a client. The customer is the buyer. How compensation with other brokers would work if that needs to be done. Intermediary status, basically saying that the broker may allow a potential buyer being represented at the firm to be representative in this transaction. And different notices, confidential. We will keep all your information confidential. You are allowing us to. You are willing to accept these financing options, so a conventional loan, VA loan, FHA loan, or cash, for how the seller will pay for that. For how will the buyer pay for the house? different MLS rules and other information. I ask you to read through. More information I ask you to read through. But this stuff here doesn't apply for this transaction, but I still ask you to read through everything. And these are the seller's additional promises, things that you will do to help cooperate with the broker and make sure that this house gets sold, limitation of liability. Basically, what you're liable, what we're liable, separates those things. What happens if there's a default, mediation if there's disagreement, attorneys want their money. I think these are the things attached to the document. Agreement of the parties, additional notices, and your signature will be here, and I ask you that you sign every page in this box. Next thing is request mortgage company for your mortgage information so that we are able to make sure that everything's good. And we will need the location of your mortgage company and what is the loan number. We can secure that information. Here is saying that we're authorized to know about the loan amount and the other information about the loan. Here is what we estimate their net proceeds will be after expenses and all other information that we have found and provided. And we estimate the cost will be around $20,504. Now, some of this will get paid by the buyer potentially, and that's kind of the goal, but that is a number to keep in your mind. And the estimated sale price of $200,000 will be that much if it sells for $200,000, but that is not a final number. It could be different. And then seller disclosure. This is your homework that I'll ask you to do, and this is basically if everything that's going on in your house, if you know any issues, if you're occupying, what you have in your house, what you don't have in your house. This is just information that will be presented to the buyer, and this is something you are required to do that I cannot do for you, so you will have to do this and fill this out. And it is very important. Next is notice of information from other sources, basically where I've gathered information to present all this stuff from to you. And lastly is just information, notice to buyers and sellers. This is just information for you that I ask you to read through. It kind of gives you information on different terminology used throughout this process and helps give you a better understanding of what's going on, and just some information to know and help you stay informed. So, and then seller authorization to release and advertise certain information, basically saying that I can advertise your property for you. And the T47 is saying that you haven't made any changes to the property since the last survey was done. And so we will need to go through and fill this out later. And then some more just general information is about wire fraud, and we ask that you sign down here and stuff. And so this is just some general information for you for that. I want to thank you for your time. I'm glad you came here and sit down with me to go over kind of listing agreement stuff, and I really appreciate you coming out. Now let's go get this home sold.